Hello everybody and welcome back to the UKLC. Hopefully my tongue's warmed up and we're ready to go into our first game of the day. This is MNM taking on Enclave. We've already talked a little bit about Gad. I want to have a little look at this top lane. Aragon has been a top laner in the scene for quite a while now. I would go as far as saying he's definitely a veteran at this point, taking on Infor. What are we making of this matchup, Jamada?
Yeah, you know, I'm happy you bring up this matchup because I forgot to tell you to do it in the break. This is a particularly interesting matchup because Infor was previously on Viperio. Aragon, during his spare time last split, was actually the top lane positional coach on Viperio. So he effectively coached Infor for an entire split just gone by. So a bit of, you know, student master type stuff going on in the top lane. So I'm going to be very, very excited to track this matchup as it progresses. Particularly, obviously, the champion matchup will be very, you know, it will have a very heavy say on how the top lane will go. I still think, you know, Aragon should be the one that comes out ahead just based on relative strength. I think M4, however, has had very good individual performances in general. So yeah, I'd be very curious to see how they match up against each other.
And I think about like Aragon's champ pool as well. As a player who I know has a very wide champ pool. Yeah. You know, he does play things like the Wukong, which we have been getting seen. It's a more situational pick, but there are, you know, champions that they can play around. We are heading into pick and ban. We're still on 11-12 right now, I believe, off the top of my head. So things haven't changed from last week as far as kind of meta stuff go. I'm curious to see what the shifts are going to be in 11-13, but now we're into picks and bans, and we'll talk about 11-13 in the future. The Nunu being banned away from Screwmon, that has been banned pretty much consistently versus him.
I think 100%
I think you just lose the ban. That's it. You just lose the ban versus him.
I said it last week. It's such a powerful thing to have a player that just draws one consistent ban away from things that matter. It leaves more picks up, especially being on red side, right? Red side is typically the trade pick side. You give up one pick to take two very strong picks, and when you're consistently drawing that Nunu ban, you end up with one extra very, very strong champion up. Thresh off the board as well. Xin Zhao, something that MNM, I believe, first picked last week twice, or at the very least they early picked it pretty consistently. Suits Gdanica very well. Gwen, we know, is a very powerful champion, and Karma as well off the board. So the only things I'm looking at right now, Rumble, Ezreal, potentially another AD carry.
Varus.
Varus, yeah.
Is there something I'm missing? I feel like I'm missing Akali. Akali.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
Of course, there it goes. Yeah. Cool. So I was about to say, I felt like we were missing something there, but
I did too, but hey, Nocturne going to be the point of order for MNM here. Very, very interesting. We've seen a lot of rise priority for this pick. Especially, I feel like in the LEC, I think it's the most picked top lane in the top league of Europe. So MNM taking a page out of the LEC's book there. We'll see what the response is for Enclave. Of course, you have things like the Rumble, like the Ezreal, two very strong picks. I believe Screwmon has picked up the Rumble at least once. There's the Ezreal going by, which, just for the record, on 11-13 seems to be pretty dead now, which makes me a bit happy. Viego as well, a champion that did receive some nerfs, but more to lane Viego, if I recall. So it's going to be, like you say, very curious to track next week's picks. But let's see how MNM want to respond after this pretty decent rotation from Enclave.
The interesting thing about this Nocturne as well is it is technically flexible. We'll see what they decide to go for here. So Diana gets locked in. That's probably going in the jungle for Gdanica. And this does mean that they can afford to pick up an AD mid a little bit later into the pick and ban phase. Kai'Sa's going to be the answer to Ezreal. It's something we've seen quite a lot as a counter, or at least an answer pick to the Ezreal. Although the current state of Ezreal, he actually gets a bit too tanky. So it's a bit of a rougher matchup than it used to be. We'll see what Enclave are looking to kind of round out here. Do they want to just pick themselves up a decent support to pair up with the Ezreal? Or do they want to get something which they can put in a different lane right now? I actually think... I know we don't like to sell covers, but I actually think... Okay, there's a screwing on me. It's the Morgana lock-in. So, Morgana jungle, a little bit nerfed. It is potentially flexible with that and the Viego, but it also can go support as well. So, Enclave, honestly, keeping their kind of... everything open here. They've not really revealed too much other than the Ezreal right now.
Yeah, definitely. So MNM, they might struggle a bit when it comes to bans. I think the only thing that you could potentially safely remove away is good pairings with Ezreal. So things like potentially the Braum, but Norless being banned away by Enclave, it's more of a strong-ish pick into the Ezreal just because of the ultimate. You can't shift away from that. There's the relatively predictable Braum ban there. I imagine Enclave, if they want to, they can shift away from support bans, but again, though, they just want to really target down and pin down Clox's pool, which kind of just leaves open just the Leona in terms of engaged supports. And MNM, again, the only thing that they can safely ban is supports, because other than that, every other pick on Enclave can actually flex in just about every single lane.
Well, waiting for the final ban to come through. It's just been heavily in the support roster role, and that is going to be the Leona. So I feel like Morgana, technically not an awful support pick here, just because of how much it's been trimmed, how much the support pools have been trimmed. But again, you know, there are still plenty of things open. They could look just to pick something up to go in the top lane if that Viego isn't going to be the lane Viego. And it looks like they have got an answer here. Again, another technical flexible pick. I hate this Enclave draft just because I don't know what's going where. It's confusing me, and I don't like it.
Yeah, no, I'm a big fan though of the set here. It's very fast rotation by MNM with the Lee Sin and the Galio. So Galio is something that we've seen recently rise as an answer to some of these melee supports coming in. Now, a lot of them are just outright banned away. They could be predicting a Rightly set just because it is something that he's very, very fond of and very proficient on. Yeah. So they're going to take the Galio into it. Of course, it pairs up super well with the Nocturne dive. Just in general, on theme of MNM are looking to play this out probably pretty aggressively. Once level 6s come in, they're going to be so potent. But last second pivot over to the Tahm Kench. So the set isn't going to actually be in a solo lane, likely in Infall's hands up there. So pretty strong drafts from both sides. I feel like Enclave have a lot of good tools at dealing with dive, whereas MNM have a very strong dive comp. So it's really going to be about understanding win conditions, engage windows, and I feel like just because of how MNM have typically played so far throughout the split, strong side, weak side is going to be a very, very big thing in this game.
The thing that I am looking at in this game is a kind of like a time problem. I think things like the Lee Sin, as you do get later into the game, can normally get out scale, but I guess it's a set in the mid lane, so it's not as bad of a situation for them. But like you said, I think it's the dive. I think level 6 is when MNM really want to kind of pull that trigger and just bring everybody down into the bot lane, or it doesn't really matter where they decide to dive, but they just want to go in for the dive. You've got the Paranoia, the Moonfall, you got the Galio to follow up. Galio and Nocturne is one of the kind of like, it's a bit of an OG duo where, you know, after Galio got reworked, Nocturne would commonly get paired up with the Galio just because Paranoia into the hero's entrance is really, really impactful, and there's really very little counterplay because you can't see him coming. He just slams into you, and then suddenly you got the taunt on, you got the fear on, the CC. You die before the CC even ends. It's really, really disgusting. Now, we'll see where they decide to do that, because the pair of them are paired up on the opposite side of the map with each other, so it might just have to be a pivot towards the mid lane and just try and attack Sykes. We'll have to see. That was my thoughts on it. How right did I get it, Jamada?
Yeah, you know what? All in all, fairly spot on. I think that the combos that MNM have available to them, definitely very potent. Like you say, it can be really, really difficult to deal with, you know, lights out into an immediate hero's entrance. And in general, I feel like MNM have been a team that even when they shouldn't necessarily do things, they kind of just get aggressive and it will work. It has backfired, definitely, but they seem to be a team that tends to get away with some of these higher execution sort of plays and dives. But I think, again, Enclave have a really, really strong draft here to sort of deal with some of it, particularly in the early game. I feel like, you know, Arcane Shift, Devour, Black Shield, all of these things are really, really potent and do scale relatively well into this game. I do definitely feel like, though, if MNM are allowed to have bottom lane priority, whether they're allowed to stack waves, if that unlocks Dropper and Clocks at the same time to sort of roam up towards the mid lane or just into the jungle, I don't know how Enclave will necessarily answer some of the potential priority to come out of the bottom lane. And I also think in the top side, there's going to be relatively easily secured priority there for MNM.
Yeah.
So I think when it comes to Enclave, maybe playing through mid is about their only like super strong option. But they're going to have to sort of just play it out, wait for some of these first item spikes in the solo lanes, and then also that 2 item spike for Ezreal on side.
It's gonna be a game. Unfortunately, we have still got the game loading in, so hence why we're still on our phases. So far, no pauses. Although the lengthy loading always makes me nervous. More nervous than Jamada's internet does, to be honest.
I mean, look, it wasn't great last night.
Yeah.
Just, full clarity.
It's never great, mate. It's not been great for a while.
It's not been great for like the last month, which is basically this entire split. It is, however. It has been behaving today, and it's behaved on a majority of broadcast days. So I can't complain. Well, I can,
to be fair,
but yeah.
To be fair, my internet was playing up this morning, and I was like, is this how Jamada feels? Is this the levels of stress Jamada feels?
Yes. Absolutely.
Just before a show day, but everything goes wrong, and you're like,
imagine
I'm doomed.
Imagine it's pure RNG for the entire length of the broadcast, you don't know it's going to go off or on.
Yeah.
Or stay on. So, it's not fun. But hey, at least I'm here to be able to keep you company during some of these UKLC games as we're here on to Summer's Rift for Game 1 of Week 4.
Bit of a bush getting set up here by Enclave. Although all it really takes is one Crescent Strike from I can't actually remember the name of it. Is it Crescent Slash from Diana?
Pretty sure.
What's Diana Q called? Observer?
I don't play Diana.
Could, please?
I don't know. I just know that.
I actually need to know. I can't remember. I think it's Crescent Slash.
The dash is called Lunar Rush.
Yeah, it's Lunar Rush, and Moonfall is the ultimate.
Yeah.
And Kale Cascade or something like that.
That's the shield. Yeah.
That's the shield on her W. Her Q is called. Oh, I got it right. What's her W? No, her Q. Sorry.
Yeah, you're not getting that. You got the W. You're not getting the Q, mate.
I got the W though. I got the W right. I don't need to have it confirmed. Don't do this to me. Just show me. I hate it.
Okay, really quick thing to note. Joppa did get some XP. I think also shared of clock. So that I need to look this up, man. I need to figure out. I'm pretty sure the ward does actually give them early level 2 on the bottom side. So going to potentially have to watch out for that one Enclave. But they are here and set up on the wave first. So Brackley and Impulse is gonna pay a little bit of poke over to them as they enter the lane. But again, I'm expecting the MNM bottom side to have priority down here for the most part. I think Galio and Kaiser should be able to get that one over the likes of Ezreal, just in the early stages. Though they did leash, so we'll have to see how that does impact it. As you can see for now, Enclave do have first shot.
I was gonna quickly Google what this is because our observer's bullying me. I don't want to see Princess Diana. Oh, it's Crescent Strike. There we go. If you type in Diana Q name, you actually get Princess Diana as well.
Ah. There you go. Even our replay guy gave us all of the names of the abilities.
Moon Silver Blade is the passive. I didn't know that, actually. Anyway, Sykes and Vango having a bit of a scrap here in the mid lane, but level 3 hit for Sykes where Vango not quite got it yet. Has now just hit that 3, so we'll be feeling a little bit more comfortable.
It's the two fisticuffs champions in the mid lane, man. Lisa.
Punchy boys.
Yeah, the two punchy boys. Dude, it would have been cool if Vango was using the knockout skin. Yeah,
that would be good.
Yeah.
Well, if he used the Muay Thai one, he kicks more, doesn't he?
Yeah, that's right. Pretty meaty trade. You can see set all attacks from the Q really does beef up his auras. A lot of sustain between these two laners. Thorn Shield, set regen, pots, and just the Iron Will healing from Lee Sin Safeguard as well. We'll keep these guys relatively healthy as the lane progresses, but junglers both opting for full clears, so I'm not expecting too much action unless the lanes necessarily demand it. What I am looking towards is sort of pathing efficiency and use of priority from both these junglers. So when these junglers actually attack side lane jungle camps, just based off of the actual priority that they've gained. So you saw Godanica pathed up to the top side because he was expecting priority out of Aragon in the Viego matchup. It's pretty standard that Nocturne gets priority in just about any lane. Whereas Skumon recognized that, so he pathed down to the bottom side, got himself a Scuttle, where the priority definitely a little more volatile, but not as concrete as what the top lane matchup was, and they both got themselves Skulls. So back out onto the map, you'll see them start to farm up a Storm until level 6 most likely.
They were thinking about a little something there in the bot lane, although Gad just decides to go back towards his camps and try and catch him some farm, get some gold in his pocket. Can also hit that 6 mark once that Lunar Rush is available. Sorry, Moonfall. Lunar Rush he gets earlier. They changed those, didn't they? That was a long time ago.
Come on, dude. He's gonna...
Yeah. Look, I played a lot of old Diana. Sometimes my wires get a little cross. It happens, you know?
Yeah. It's one of the things about this Lee Sin matchup. I do think that Lee actually has a pretty okay time into set. Just because Lee typically wants to be so close and on top of the set that while sometimes, of course, set damage can be a bit overbearing, it does make it a lot easier to dodge out on the Haymaker and the true damage portion of that. Just because you're so close typically means you can kind of just walk to the side. And of course you can safeguard out of it, can safeguard yourself just to shield yourself from damage. Does nullify a lot of what Set wants to get going. As Vango looking to play dodgeball with Scumont here over the wall.
Scumont doesn't even want to play.
No, Scumont doesn't.
He's on a ward though, and Vango will spot him out. His teleport's coming in. Gad actually jumps in onto Scumont, just forces him to use the black shield. As Vango now just going to wait and slow Sykes down. Scumont chasing him with the Predator on. They're going to pull Vango back as he dodges away on the binding. Has to flash. One more auto attack from Scumont. Not gonna find it. Vango able to escape somehow.
Yeah, and I think Lee Sin just having more base MS than Morgana was what saved Vango's life right there, as Clock's getting bullied a bit, but not much to be had there. As yeah, it was looking a bit scary there for the MNM mid jungle in general, because it was actually Enclave that had first move up the river, so Nub's advantage was firmly in Enclave's favor. Now with Vango being forced out, it looks like Enclave are trying to start this dragon. I'm not too sure, but we'll see a full-on contest. But you can see Gadonika's moving down into the area, and there is a reset coming out of Infor in the top side. And Aragon teleporting, actually, there's a deep ward, so he's going to probably switch the lights out.
Yeah, looks like everybody's coming in as well. Aragon waiting for the opportunity. Teleports are coming in. That's going to be Cox jumping in for the paranoia. Already first blood's been picked up for Aragon. The slam comes down as Jopper in the middle of everyone will lose his life. And N4's able to steal a couple of forms as he's getting a second one. The heart is broken. Third form's picked up and the flash double kill for Rightly. Enclave just walked through MNM on the team fight as Vango just has to run and try and get away.
Yeah, not a good fight there for MNM in the end. They were the first ones to pull the trigger on the teleport. And they did actually try and make a pick first between Aragon and Gadonica, but it was the frontline Clocks was taking too much damage from Rightly Impulse, and from that point on, Joppa didn't really have anywhere to go just because of where the diving members of MNM went. We'll get a replay of it pretty soon, as it's up on our screens now. You see, deep teleport comes through, Aragon's weighing on the sides, and you can just take a look. Gadonica and Aragon turn onto Scumon. They want to remove the jungler, but on the bottom side, his Clock's taking too much damage, has to walk up into the face of the set. Same for Joppa. Gets the form stolen away by N4, and once the resets start coming down, there's not really much you can get done. And Gadonica does his best on the bottom side, trying to take down Impulse, but it's just not a trade that can happen. 4 kills go over to Enclave, so 1,000 gold lead at 8 minutes. Only good thing for MNM is that the dragon wasn't taken. That's about it.
Invul gets chased on too, has to heartbreak to get away. Is able to survive, but probably not completely happy with having to burn the ultimate.
No, probably not, as Heartbreak is a nice tool to just kind of have as a potential, you know, fall into it. It's not the most powerful ultimate in the world at base, definitely, but when you get the resets going, it's certainly a very threatening thought. So losing it's going to be a bit sad as the kick backwards, actually.
Oh, Sykes gets pulled back into the tower. One more shot comes down, trying to survive for now, but Vango will not let him escape as Gadonica secures the kill. Beautiful little combo there between the MNM mid jungle.
Yeah, real nice kick underneath the tower. Takes 1 tower shot, Sykes does for his troubles, and doesn't quite have the suplex up. If he had his ultimate, definitely could have played that one out a little bit longer, potentially even gone out, but just not quite available. So with that play off the back of it, Gadonica's going to go up to the Herald. You can see Vango also just going up into topside fog, maybe getting some information, and that will be Herald secured. So turning the previous foreplay back in their favor at the very least. As I was going to say, I would have actually expected Enclave to return to the dragon after the fact of that fight, but seems like they potentially had lanes to get in order. But this time now, knowing where Gadonica is and where MNM have put their chips down, we'll trade out this dragon.
Like I said, they're a little bit late, and we actually do look at kind of where a bunch of that gold went from that fight, that last fight. Rightly got a double kill, so you know he's miles ahead of Clocks, but I mean he's a support.
Yeah, and not only that, it's a Tahm Kench. It's not even like a fasting center Tahm Kench where, you know, Tahm gets really obnoxiously tanky either. It's just your normal support Tahm. So kills didn't quite go exactly where Enclave went. Now the gold, of course, is still gold at the end of the day. But when you take a look at the other lane matchups, right? Top side, Aragon actually has the lead because the CS lead. In the jungle, Gadonica finds himself with 600 gold, plus the Herald, I think, still in his pocket. So he's going to extend that. The mid lane, just about dead even, and the AD carries only a 300 lead for Impulse. So despite finding a really positive fight because of where the kills went, may not find the most impact out of them as time progresses. We're at the 10-minute mark, actually, so if we could maybe get a swap back, I'd like to take a look at the items, because is that kind of time.
It's item time, baby. Yeah, we can see almost in force finished up his Divine Slanderer, so very close towards that. Got the whip onto Aragon. Aragon not quite towards that stride breaker yet. You got the whip on Vango as well. Protobelt in the building for Gardanica. You know, we're sitting on a lot of components at the moment. That's kind of where we are if we do look at the items. Ooh. But if we look at the map state and kind of where everything is, MNM, they've got themselves that Rift Herald to use, so they can look to place that down in one of the waves. Vango can now, with the whip, actually just one-shot waves pretty effectively. So it's easy for him to either... Well, it's easy for Gardanica to either use his Rift Herald at the top or the mid, just because when you've got that Nocturne, when you've got that Lee Sin, waves do just disappear, and you don't have to worry about the wave getting stuck, as Vango going to get jumped onto by Sykes. Does eat a tongue lash, but he's okay.
Not too worried about that one, as I want to see how MNM want to use this Herald. A lot of strong targets to put it on to, honestly, in a game like this. Nocturne's going to be a pretty proficient member of making the dives occur. Drop it on the Kaiser, of course, is a late game scaling component as well. A little bit of insurance, and obviously funneling gold into a Dyna isn't a terrible idea either, just because of the scaling. So loads of options. We'll have to see, as Enclave really adamant on defending the mid lane. Oh, nice devour.
Very quick pick up there by Rightly, just to make sure Sykes doesn't get picked up. But Screwmond is looking for the binding. He's able to find it. That is a tragic time for a pause.
Yeah, I would like to know who called that pause, actually, because that's such a hilarious time. But hey, Vango should be okay. I don't feel like he'll die, but he doesn't have Safeguard for another 4 seconds. Does have Flash.
Yeah.
So we'll have to see. Sykes has Flash too. If they want to force it, I think they can within the duration of that binding. So this is going to be a very entertaining return to the game once the lag.
All I'm saying is we need to snap back very quickly once this is ready to go.
Yeah,
does look like the lag issue has been resolved, so we should be getting back into the action. Realistically, Vango probably is just going to flash.
He's probably going to be okay and flash.
But there's that ever slight chance where Screwmond follows him before like the chains break, because I'm assuming we might see some chains come out from Screwmond. But it does look like the pause has ended and we are getting ready. I think they're just going to back off.
Yeah, I think
let's find out.
Too low. I can see the CC bar. I don't think he's in any danger. Oh. All right. Well, we're just waiting for the spectator.
Oh, any minute now. Any minute now. There we go. That's a great freeze frame. Is yeah, they walked away.
I don't think the stream quite caught it, but basically the way that Spectator works, anybody that's ever used Spectator, whether you're just spectating friends or you're a coach or you're a player, it's very buggy. Everyone knows that. And sometimes when you unpause, interrupted the safeguard there, very nice. It gives you, a freeze frame for a second, and it was just a tongue lash, and it just looked pretty hilarious onto Vango, who was reared up. But yeah, nothing comes of that play. The Herald is gonna drop off in a couple of seconds. Impulse has found a lot of chip damage onto Joppa, below half HP, but he's not gonna push for anything more. MNM running out of time to use this Herald in a way that they'll probably be very happy with.
Yeah. Does look like Gad's actually making his way down bot side. Joppa's hanging about, so they may decide to use it here. Remember, they've got the teleport on Vango and Aragon, so this might be the point of attack here. There's one ward in that pink brush the Clocks is currently in. Sorry, the one pink in the tri brush, not pink brush. And it looks like this is probably going to be the location where the Rift Herald gets used. Gad has to use it now, otherwise it's going to get wasted. Press the button. Gad. Oh, he's timing it.
Oh no.
Gad, bro. Just traded Dragon for that. Do you know the sad thing is? He swept. He pressed the sweeper. He didn't want the sweep.
Okay, I think
that's the Gardanica moment.
Okay, so I've not been playing a lot of League of Legends recently. But I'm pretty sure that the mini jungle camps do actually stop you from placing Herald. But that felt a lot longer than 4 seconds. So...
Oh no, he was trying to get as far up the lane as possible. So he didn't have to walk as far. That is actually unbelievably tragic from Gardanica. I mean, we get them. We get them all the time, don't we? Yeah. I always remember when he first came onto the scene, him dying to jungle camps at least once a season. Well, I remember your video, which we're not going to share.
No.
That you put on Twitter.
It was a good video.
It was a great video. It was
very representative of what happened in that week of scrims. Yeah. Very, very hilarious character. Gadanica is. I feel like we always have memes for our resident close webcam boy.
Oh, that was the best. Teleports are coming in. It looks like MNM and Enclave looking to have a little bit of a fight here. Joppa's on the long way around, so it might be a bit of a hard flank to go for, but they're all grouped up. This is the perfect hero's entrance.
Yeah, they need to not group up too much. You can see Gadanica really
there it is. They're trying to pull him in for the moment, and it's going to be everybody jumping onto the front line for the moment. And the CC chain is too much. Aragon's able to survive as a double kill's been picked up. Joppa killer instincts forwards as the carpet is laid down, as Vango's going to slide in for a little bit more damage. The chains are on, and he's going to be able to get himself broken away and freely as Joppa secures the shutdown. Quox gets the chop, gets the taunt on the 2, as Impulse will finish him up, and Joppa flashes forward for one last kill. Impulse, the only one standing here for Enclave.
A whole bunch of funny micro things going on there in the midst of that fight. Impulse flashes over the wall onto the blast cone to try and chase down Aragon. Aragon just hits the blast cone, just throws him straight back into the river. Gadanica almost dies in the midst of the dive because Sykes ults him back out, predicting the Moonfall flash coming through. A whole bunch of crazy shenanigans going on. We'll get the replay. You see Gadanica desperately looking for that ultimate, but he is thrown back out. The ultimate from Clock's actually interrupted by the Facebreaker. Infor isn't able to get any resets onto Gadanica from nice poke, or peel rather, from the MNM members. And as you saw, this Impulse just chucked straight back into the river via the Blast Cone, and it's just a slow chase down by the crew of MNM here. Very nice Flash Justice Punch to try and take down Screamon. Unfortunately dies in the aftermath of it. Impulse isn't able to pick up anything else. 1 of 4 on the Ezreal though, so has a lot of resources there. Joppa is on the opposite side on his Kraken Slayer, walking towards what I imagine is going to be a collector with the Dirk, though he's got it, I think, for the AD evolution, so potentially looking at PD still as a second item.
Oh, 16 minutes in now. Good fight coming in. And like you said, items are being bought. 4 mythics picked up for MNM. And Scumond just going to find the binding onto Clocks, but that's going to be all she wrote on that one. As MNM now turn their attention towards this Rift Herald. Hopefully, Gadanica, you can use it this time.
Yeah, honestly, at this point, just give it to Vango or something. No, at least then use it for Warthogs.
Give it to Clocks.
Yeah, just give it to Clocks. Honestly, you'll probably use it better at this point. He is a 4-key presser. He is a
4-key presser, unless he has a different key binding.
Unless he has a different key binding, yeah. That's very true. As things are actually coming out to the top side, and real nice of Infor to also back away. Recognizes he is on weak side, and this is one of the core strengths, in my opinion. One of the few things that only really MNM and maybe sometimes you see remnants of it from London, Resolve Academy as well. Great utilization of strong side, weak side. As Enclave, they're not really committing numbers into the bottom side. They all took a reset, so MNM might just get 3 towers across the map in the space of one wave. You can see the top side is shoving in, Aragon's shoving in on the bottom side as well. It's just a really poor reset timing from Enclave, and it's just a lot of standing gold going over all of a sudden. Yeah,
but I do feel like the Rift Herald was actually wasted. That tower was dead no matter what. It was like 2 more auto attacks away from Joppa taking it. So I'm not sure if the use of the Rift Herald was great, but at least it got used this time.
I will say, I don't think MNM were expecting a defense.
Impulse, the flank's coming in. Vango comes in for the kick. They pull him back, and Impulse is down. Moonfall's used by Gadanica, and Rightly able to survive it. But MNM just quickly snapped the fight.
Yeah, this is the thing about MNM. They're so quick sometimes to just pull the trigger. Turn up the heat, immediately make a snap decision play like that. It's not quite at the timer for Baron, but it's a nice pick nonetheless. And it's going to buy them a little bit of time if they want to go get resets, if they want to set up vision. Loads of things available, but for now, it seems like catching waves on the side, getting that reset into the bottom lane is going to be the name of the game. Very nice pick onto Impulse. It did cost Vango his flash, but honestly, the time bought means that potentially MNM can come back out onto the map and set up for the bottom side. with this dragon spawning up in a minute's time. And replay of it, you can see Impulse. There's just no information on the top side of the jungle, and that's all to do with the strong side that we just saw from MNM, where they forced members up into the top side. And Enclave, I mean, they didn't even really set up defensive vision, so MNM didn't have a lot of work to do there.
Oh, hold on.
Realistically, anyway.
Aragon.
Yeah, Aragon potentially overstepped. Teleport comes out to defend.
Burnt Vango's teleport, though. Yeah. Just as the dragon's about to spawn, as Impulse has actually made his way over, and he's doing a lot of damage to Aragon and Vango. He's got that Divine Sunder pretty strong right now. Dragon spawning up, and MNM able to catch these waves fairly high in the mid lane thanks to this tower going down. So I think it means Enclave kind of have to be a little bit more defensive in where they get the waves, and this means that MNM get free roam over the river, and to that blue side jungle, just to clear out some of this vision and play some of their own. As resets are looking to come in from a couple of the members, although for now, not going to go for it. Vango has to be a little bit careful.
Yeah, and it's like you said, right? They're able to catch the wave high, not only because the mid-tier one's down, but because they know Enclave committed members to the top side. So they can confidently shove up the wave. They just sort of play some guesstimation work on when exactly people will be down there. Gadunika's going to solo out this dragon. Not a lot of hard work going on here for the blue side team, and they can kind of return two side lanes, and I'll be looking at MNM to see where they'll decide to try and make a play next, and whether Enclave can actually respond appropriately. Because like we said, a lot of good tools at dealing with dive. You've got the Stay, you've got the Morgana, Tahm Kench. Great options at dealing with diving members like Nocturne and Kai'Sa and the Galio. Yeah, if that extra shot barrage hit, I feel like it would have dealt a fair amount of damage. I don't know why, it looked like a hefty one.
It looked like it had a bit of weight behind it.
Yeah.
But it was just Joppa dodged it. He dodged the Essence Flux, the Q, and the True Shot. He just dodged everything there. Nice little bit of fancy dancing coming in from Joppa. There was a quick test on the Baron to see if they had the DPS check, or I don't know if it was the ward. I'm not entirely sure what happened there.
I think it was the ward. I mean, between Diana and Kai'Sa, if MNM are afforded like 15 seconds in front of the Baron pit, they could probably duo it.
Yeah, I mean, you got Kraken Slayer, remember? So yeah. I think what happened was Gad's passive hit it when they were clearing a ward out. I think that's what happened.
That could be it. As you can kind of see with the vision line shoved up on the sides.
No, they're doing it.
Oh, they're doing it now, yeah. Yeah, they're trying to do it. But Aragon is definitely not tanky enough. And there's a ward, actually. Wow, that control ward isn't picking up that ward. That's crazy. If you take a look at the Baron pit, there is that Enclave ward at the very back. That control ward somehow not catching onto it now. Let's see if this turns into anything, because frankly...
Rightly's taking a lot of damage. If Joppa committed, I actually think Rightly could have gone down there.
Yeah,
I mean, you got the Collector. You only have to get him a little bit lower. Sure, you have the Grey Shield, but even so.
Yeah, one more war as well could have been it. As that Rightly's actually gone Frozen Fist over a, you know, something like a Shurelya's Locket. Definitely very interesting choice of items, if you ask me. I feel like you'd want to bring a Locket into a game like this, but...
Yeah, I think I'd like the Locket.
he's even stealing a greedy catfish. He's actually just niching for Impulse, I am joking. But yeah. I think for now, probably waiting towards the next dragon to see what the action will be, as MNM have been relatively tempered over the last 2.5 minutes since the last dragon takedown. A couple of touch and go Baron attempts, that's about it. They're still unaware about this ward in the back of the pit. As far as MNM are concerned, this is borderline complete fog for Enclave.
Yeah, they're probably sitting quite happy here as Rightly might find himself in trouble, but the taunt doesn't quite connect. The binding from Screwmon's going to come in as Vango ward hops in, ward hops out. The paranoia's down. They're looking for clocks to try and find his opportunity to jump in. Looking for the knock-up of the multiple members. They're all going very low. Joppa comes down. 2 members are going to get knocked up. No, they interrupt clocks for the moment as Infall gets the stun up into Joppa. Joppa has to run away. Slice is going to lose his life as a double kill. Has been picked up for Joppa. And now Infall. His heart is breaking as he's stealing forms and taking MNM members left, right, and center. As Impulse finds himself the shutdown with a shift. The kick goes wide and Vango not going to be able to survive this one today. Impulse gets the double.
Yeah, it's an overreach from MNM, and it's what we've spoken about before. They're a very aggressive team. They wanted to make a play. It seemed like they were getting a little bit restless because there wasn't enough action going on. And they try and make a play on the top side. They kind of get caught out in rotation, and it turns into this big brawl where Fox apparently wants to, at the very end of it, potentially donate his life to make it a clean ace.
He was trying his hardest.
He's trying his hardest. Enclave, honestly, really good response to that rotation. They pick up multiple members. Info kind of goes a tad unchecked come the back end of the fight. Members go low enough and he starts to take those forms as, here you go. It's Enclave, you know, catching the rotation out, and then it's MNM deciding to go forward with that paranoia. The kick's really nice, and you can understand the commitment there to try and make it onto Impulse, but it's the Devour that makes good. And despite the ultimate from Clocks, it doesn't really do anything. I think it actually got interrupted. I'm not actually sure by who or where, but he didn't end up dropping down, which is also a pretty big deal. Now it means Enclave sit with the Baron, and Joppa just got caught out.
Joppa, he's going to get slammed back. He's taken out. Impulse secures the kill. And Info takes his form. MNM, they're just going to have to get their mid lane tower up. The Baron siege is on. And MNM are starting to feel the hurt as the True Shot Barrage going to chip away at the wave. And Impulse should be able to make short work of this tower with the Sheen from the Divine Sunderer. Tower number 2 will collapse then. Finally, some of that lock gold you were talking about is getting cashed in for here for Enclave, but they're looking to jump forward. Sykes is going to come in with the Strike Breaker. Gad has to pop the ultimate, pulls a couple of members in as the taunt comes down, but that's the slam, and Impulse will secure himself yet another kill. Info jumping forward onto Aragon, as Aragon has nowhere to go. It's another kill for Sykes here.
Enclave might be able to end. They've got a wave. It's baroned up, there's 5 of them, and it's 2 dead, and it's the 2 diving members in particular. I don't know if there's enough wave clear to defend this, Jake. Enclave might have honestly done it right here.
Tower number 1's gone down. Vango's going to have to make a miracle happen. He dodges away on the stun for the moment, trying to get the kick off. Gets off of multiple members. Joppa's getting the damage off. Sykes has been pulled in, though. Joppa's is trying to jump away for the moment, able to keep himself up as they're chasing for more. Vango able to jump away. The True Shot Barrage gets flashed into him. The stun's pretty big. The tower goes down. The Nexus is exploded. Joppa's going to have to make a miracle work. Gets himself a triple kill. Impulse is going low. Vango not going to be able to close this one. It was a quadra kill for Joppa as Impulse chasing in with Vango. Finds himself the kill. Gad comes in. The Pale Cascade will keep him alive, and MNM somehow hold on to this game.
Honestly, I'm not gonna lie, fumble after fumble, MNM might have just deserved to lose the game right there and then. Enclave have had so many strong responses and immediate just punishment from some of these positionings from MNM, but they don't quite manage to close out with the Baron buff. It's heroics from Vango and Joppa in the end that keeps them afloat. But honestly, Enclave, with that base open, I'm not sure was there any wards in the base. The teleports are up and available for Info, and it's coming up soon for Sykes as well. They've now got to be careful with potential backdoors, things like that. One slip up means that, quite frankly, Enclave can end the game. You've got things like the Abyssal Voyage as well. And now they're coming in. This dragon.
They've gone too deep. Aragon has to jump away. The Dragon Shield should get secured here, but Aragon may lose his life. Has to pop the Paranoia. They're trying to bring back up as the knockup is going to collapse onto 1. They continue the chase onto Info. Rightly gobbles up Gadanica and brings him into the waiting jaws of Screwmon as he's able to jump away, but Info just about surviving. He's got the sustain. He's got the forms. He's got the kill. Gad gets the slam down, but that's another one for Info. A double kill for him.
I feel like Enclave, if they wanted to, they could just run it down mid right now. As 5 and maybe look to end. The Nexus is laid bare. It's open. There's nothing stopping them. Let's see what they do, because quite frankly, MNM again with a bit of an overcommitment. They don't need to take that dragon. They don't need to be there.
It's Cloud Soul. They don't need Cloud Soul to win.
It's not that important this game, I promise. And now it's 20 seconds until Aragon and Gadanica are up.
They're jumping in. Screwmon, he's already been caught. That's going to be Joppa jumping back to safety. But the taunt's used. Joppa loses his life. MNM, they might just have lost this. Sykes is looking to end it. Vango has no backup, has no damage, just rightly gobbles him up. 27 minutes on the clock. And Enclave take out MNM.
And honestly, I said this coming into the game. If we saw a more decisive version of Enclave today, there is a realistic chance they can take down MNM, because they are a team, again, very over-aggressive, and they overstep, they overreach on a very consistent basis. It's been the MO of MNM, regardless of the iteration. It doesn't seem to matter. MNM gaming in the UKLC always seem to just be very, very aggressive. And we saw it time after time, about 4 times back-to-back, and it cost them the game. And Enclave did a damn good job at punishing them for it. And I'm really happy to see them actually step up and take down the team that was in first place.
Well, that keeps everything tight as well, which is really nice. Means that the league continues to be close, and a massive upset there for Enclave. Something that was very much needed for them, but also for the rest of the league. Brilliant game from Enclave. But for now, we're going to throw to a break. And when we're back, we'll have an interview with Info, their top laner. We'll see you after this.